Farfa made a video that's called Master Duel Sucks, which, I mean, I guess judging from the fact that we've been doing TCG content for 2 weeks or whatever straight, you can imagine how I feel about this. I wonder exactly, because the thing is, the reason why I feel frustrated about Master Duel right now is because, like, I think it's not that great from a competitive perspective, which I feel like is usually not how Farfa uses it. But so I wonder if that's what it's about. But I'm seeing a Lancia on the screen already. So, you know, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lean back. I'm gonna have my food, and I'm gonna enjoy someone else ranting about Malice for once, because I've been ranting about Malice so much. I'm tired of it. I thought about doing the Duelist Cup just for the gems, because I know you get a lot of gems for the Duelist Cup. I thought about just messing around with like Necros or something, like one of these days, just to get my gems, and just to have some fun with Necros, maybe, if it's possible. But like, I obviously in terms of high competitive Master Duel with like Malice in the mix, I do agree. But yeah.
For the last 3 or 4 months now, Master Duel has been consistently breaking records, and it isn't the type of record that you might be familiar with or possibly want to even celebrate in the first place. No, Master Duel has been smashing the lowest concurrent player base it's had since its release 3 years ago. That is impressive, to be dwindling at about 12,000 concurrent players now, when we were averaging about 20,000 plus just last year. Can you believe and imagine that Snake Eye had more people playing the game than where the game is at today? This card right here is enough to make me just never want to play ranked again. Not even gonna bother whining about Maxi. We've done that 1,000 times. Just given up on the fact and gaslit myself into believing that'll never go away. Animal rights activists, I'm sorry. I hope the bear gets rabies. The fact that this and Baron and Maxi can all exist in a best of one environment.
He's so mad. Awesome.
With floodgates is so freaking miserable for the competitive aspect of this game. I don't even know where to begin. This is mostly like ranked complaining right now, and this is probably why the vast majority of my content for a long time now has primarily focused on making Yugioh good. And Yugioh is a great game when you don't have to deal with the current meta. That's not to say there's bad metas. My god, head on over to the TCG and it is night and day just how different our games are. Why do they get to—
I will say that was my solution. Genuinely, it's just like, at some point I just asked myself, you know, why do I keep doing this when they keep making these decisions that I don't agree with in Master Duel? And I keep looking at TCG ban lists, and I keep saying like how good the approaches are. I mean, they're not perfect by any means, but then eventually I was just like, yeah, I should just play more TCG. That's it. That is it. You know, like if you don't enjoy the game, I suppose, then play a different game. I guess that's just how it worked out for me. But I get that it's frustrating, specifically for Farfa, because I think he's more dependent on Master Duel as a form of content, because he just doesn't get to play the TCG as much, because he's in a different position, you know. And it's not as easy for someone whose job is to be a full-time content creator. It's not as easy to just stop playing Master Duel, right? Like I'm doing it, but like I'm also like, it takes time, it takes effort. It comes with, at the moment, lower viewer numbers, even though I appreciate all of you for still being here. And I hope you're enjoying the content, but I do have lower numbers than what I used to have, and that's a tough thing to realize as well as a content creator. Like, you're somewhat dependent on the game as well. Like, if the game gets worse, it's not as easy to stop as it is for like the normal, like, average player.
To have fun. Master Duel is killing the TCG? Well, here's a counterpoint. If that's so true, why is TCG so much better? And why is Master Duel so garbage? I don't know if you can tell right now, but this video is completely unscripted and I have 3 bullet points right now. Ranked, make the game better. Don't know what I really meant by that. It's true though. And I guess we've got like slow card releases and game modes. Now here's the thing. Everything that I've been feeling for the last like 4 months or so can easily be cancelled by a completely different card pool. For example, the TCG. That's not to say TCG doesn't currently have its problems, but Master Duel is in such a miserable, unplayable state. Normally my discussion style videos tend to be scripted and very sort of nuanced and impartial and positives and negatives. I don't care about that anymore. I'm so sick and tired of ranked Master Duel. It is just miserable. I don't think I've tried to grind a ranked game all year, really, at this point. There is no possible way to play an alternative format. If you want to take a break and chill out with some Time Wizard, I'm travel or something. I don't know. Thanks, America. And of course, the fact that there is an amazing format just waiting to be played, but probably 8 months from now, well, that doesn't give me much confidence either. That's really the biggest problem here, is like, we're gonna be...
Is Josh going to ever answer the allegations that Heart of the Cast stopped because you banished 3 seer of a runic freezing curses on his tour guide normal summon, which ended in a fist fight outside a YCS venue? Yeah, that's true.
Stuck in this current state before we get the Jush cards till early next year minimum. Why is Apollosa still in the game in a best of 1 environment? I hope that bear causes her to fall off and break her neck. I don't care anymore. I hope it gets rabies. I'm so sick and tired of these cards that are just game-ending, coin-flippery bullshit in a best of 1 environment. The game right now is in a state where you have to basically just play Malice or main Lancia, I mean, in a best of 1 environment just to beat this deck. It is such a miserable experience. It is a no-joke 37-minute cutscene combo garbage piece of pile of trash. And then eventually when you...
It's very funny for me to see the rest of the community descend into this madness right now. When like all of you have always looked at me and like, oh, poor Josh, he just hates cybers. Malice is not that bad, but he's just hating it out of principle. When that was never the case. It was never the case. Malice could have been freaking insect monsters and I would have still hated it the same way because of how the deck plays. And also I would argue that at the moment for Master Duel's format, I think it's completely irrelevant which deck it is. The power level that deck is at is just disgusting, period. Like, yeah.
You do actually get to your turn, they'll just drop multiple hand traps as well as the 5 disruptions they had on the field in the first place. It plays through multiple hand traps, it's very hard to stop, and it has access to some of the most broken cards ever made, like Apollosa, and they just got support! That's what I can't get out of my head. This deck has been buffed! I seriously hope by the time that this video gets posted that the post-Worlds ban list eventually drops and they completely slaughter this deck into oblivion. And it's just unplayable. I hate this game. Whew. So I've been trying to make the game fun and enjoyable by other means, like playing the sandbox versions of cubes and drafting and all of these low-powered formats that you guys are accustomed to, wonky Cortec collabs and things like that. Playing a bunch of gimmicky, dumb, fun stuff is always like the best part of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the thing that I enjoy the most. Watching people play in actually a back-and-forth fair and balanced format, using something like the Legacy Pack tournament that we did just recently. But I'm just really so sick and tired of ranked right now, but again, it's part and parcel, maybe something to do with modern Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a whole other different discussion, but like this exact specific meta on Master Duel is just like unplayable. Because again, if you just like completely shift the card pool away, I think the game would be good if you just bring in the TCG cards, for example. And I'm not in a minority for this. There is a real reason why this game is at its lowest ever player numbers. If that isn't like setting off warning bells for Konami, then I don't really know what could possibly help alleviate that. Maybe the numbers are good in terms of monetary gain, because here's the thing, they're making a bunch of all these like crazy bundles, you get these like artwork, you know, just basically generated in some sort of CAD software that a high school student could have done, and then they sell it for like 2,500 gems to get a bunch of random packs from some unplayable archetype like Witchcrafter, and then people, I guess, maybe spend their money to buy that. And then you've got this like whole Ghost Rare special vintage sort of artwork of Breaker, people are buying that. So I assume on the cosmetic side of things and the monetary gain of Master Duel, it's probably in a good, healthy spot right now, which is dissatisfying for the average player who does want to play Master.
This is a Josh proxy video. I do think that this is just like how a lot of people feel about Master Duel right now. It genuinely at the moment, it doesn't even affect me that much because I genuinely, for now, I'm just not playing. It's not just on stream. Like I haven't really been playing.
So even semi-competitively,
I'm just having a good time in the TCG right now. So I'm choosing to just do the thing that I enjoy more at the moment.
Because if you play the game competitively and you do your dailies and you do your events, you probably don't need to spend that much money, if anything at all, to maintain a meta deck. Because now the incentive is that, oh, well, if we...
It's kind of felt this way since Snake Eyes. That is something that I realized too, is that like, I don't know why it clicked now. I think it's basically been the fact that like, if I had to put it into words for myself, it's like, yes, I felt this way in certain times during Snake Eyes, Tenpai, Yubel. The thing is, during those times, I felt the same way in the TCG as well. So it was like, it didn't feel like between Master Duel and TCG there was a huge difference. You know, it wasn't like, okay, one is good and one is bad. It felt like, no, okay, I was kind of struggling with both a little bit. But I still see myself as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and so I'm also obviously a content creator for my job. So like, of course, I'm gonna keep playing both because like that's just what it is. Now it's like with Master Duel specifically, I just realized, okay, like the TCG has been doing things to make it better. Like the TCG has done things, like even though not everything is perfect in the TCG, they are taking measures to make things better. Like for example, they hit Malice and Ryziel relatively early, if you remember. Like those decks were just out, and then like the very next ban list, we already got like the Sword, Ice, X2, Dormouse, White Rabbit, Field Spelter 2, Link Decoder banned. You know, Appaloosa was already banned before the deck came out. So like it doesn't feel like the TCG is just forcing these new archetypes down your throat by making them as busted as possible. You know, like look at Yummy and Vanquish Soul right now. You know, those decks have already been hit before they even got their second wave of support. You know, we're getting a new set next week that has Yummy cards in it, and they still decided to hit Yummy beforehand, which is good. Now, of course, you're still going to be playing Yummy, and people are still going to buy Doom of Dimensions to get the Yummy card out of it. But like the deck is not at the complete busted power level, and I think that in the long run just makes a difference for me. You know, like I can tell that like 2024 was not well received, I think, overall in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, there's a sentiment. Not everyone feels this way, but there's a I think large percentage of the community that felt like that power level from 2025 and those play patterns were not okay. And it just feels like the TCG team has gotten the memo on that, and Master Duel just hasn't. You know, and Master Duel just keeps releasing decks at like full power, doesn't actually deal with problem cards. Instead they put like random shit to one, and like the answer to full power Malice format is like, yeah, we're putting Block Dragon to 3 and releasing Adagnister cards. You know what I mean? It just feels off. It just feels like the direction is not there.
We just keep making more cosmetics and putting more things in the shop, then the game will sustain itself, and we don't actually have to make any meaningful change to Master Duel to make it more fun and enjoyable. Do you remember when the release of this game was like Virtual World VFD Turbo, Eldritch with Imperial Order and multiple rivalry goes in, or Drytron? That was the meta at the launch of Master Duel, but nobody cared. Hundreds of thousands of people logged in to play that format, as miserable as it was. But that's because it was fresh, new, and interesting, and it was Master Duel in its current shape and form, which was amazing and fun. 3 years ago. It's been 3 years. What has changed in Master Duel in 3 years? There's no new game modes. There is no new solo modes, meaningful gameplay changes to solo mode. There's new reskins of solo mode in the sense that you go through the exact same loop that you did 3 years ago. You read a dialogue, you do a practice tutorial game, and then you do a game against the bot. And that's it. They keep talking about this whole AI amazing stuff that they're doing with like the learning from duels. They tried that commentary thing, and then eventually, by the way, they scrapped it completely because apparently it ended up stealing from other AI models or something. I can't remember the
Who could have seen that coming?
Exact thing. Basically, they discontinued the AI commentary thing. It's like, oh no, AI has not been working out. It steals from others. Who could have seen that coming? They said and parroted it for over a year now that they were going to implement a way to duel against the AI and stuff. Well, there's nothing even close to that right now for solo mode. There's no new game modes like Edison or the GOAT format, which they have done as duel trials multiple times here, but it's not like anything you can actually do outside of those 3-day windows that happened, what, twice last year? So there's no like ranked mode for that, which would be infinitely more interesting. There's no arena, there's no drafting, there's no tournament mode with duel rooms. They haven't done any changes to duel rooms in 3 years. Like, what is there to do after 3 years in this game other than just play ranked? Like, please, tell me. Like, I mean, I can tell you, I'm the content creator here. We've been doing a whole bunch of other things, but what does the average person get to do?
You do need to, as a content creator, still, you need to put in a lot of effort to make anything else work. It is true. Like, we don't have any alternative game modes. The quality of life is improving at a very slow pace. I think the only really good change I can think of that they've done since launch is the introduction of of the Master 1 rated duels. I thought that was really cool. To have a ladder once you hit the highest rank, I think is awesome, to try and get like first in the world and stuff like that. I think that's a really cool feature. And that is something that if I enjoyed the format more, I would probably take part in that very, very regularly. It's just that it hasn't been the case in a while for me.
Do you guys have like 3 or 4 friends that you can consistently draft and cube with? Maybe, I don't know, but for the average player base, I feel like this game is in trouble. Not everyone has access to a elaborate sort of website software that can like draft a bunch of cards for you and all that kind of stuff. But that's besides the point. Anyway, I just want something here. Like nothing is going on. I don't understand how so little has been changed such a long amount of time, and I am reaching my breaking point because I want to play ranked. I have a competitive itch. I'm a competitive player at heart. I love grinding. I love playing the top tier best decks and having back and forth fun games. You just don't get that currently. Like Malice is not a deck that offers that type of gameplay. Yugioh is not a deck that really offers that type of gameplay. At least like when it's so dominated by Malice anyway, it really is just go fish, it feels like. I might just be an old man.
Yugioh used to offer that before they made Star Yugioh. And then they released it with Star Yugioh in Master Duel. And now that they've also added Heraldic to it, yes, Yugioh does not offer that anymore.
Right now complaining about meta bad, but this is truly one of the worst metas I've played in. I just want to play TCG format, but online basically. And these decks just can't come any faster. Even if you want to play for fun rogue decks and stuff, it's just that the problem is like Malice is so overpowering and basically beats like 99% of the card pool, even some floodgates. It's just a miserable experience. I'm not having fun with the ranked format right now. And again, all of this could essentially boil down to card pool bad. We just need new cards. We just need the new format to come in place. But I feel like there's just like a fundamental root.
The problem with that is that I feel like Master Duel, like if you look at how, for example, Snake Eye has been handled, or how Malice has been handled, how Yugioh has been handled, how Tenpai has been handled, how all of these decks have been handled in Master Duel, you can tell that there is just a different philosophy behind how the game is run. And I feel like this is going to impact every single Master Duel format from now on or forever, unless that changes, right? Like even Draco Tail, Yummy, whatever format, even Justice Hunters format is probably gonna feel different in Master Duel for a couple of reasons. I mean, you're gonna have multiple called buys, multiple max Cs, which are just gonna make for more non-games to begin with. But then like, you're gonna have as well, like, who knows what the release schedule is gonna look like. Like, we're probably gonna have, like, the best guess from what we have right now is they're probably going to release Draco Tail. It's going to be the best deck. Then they're going to release like Yummy like 2 months later. That's going to be the best deck alone, uncontested. And then then they're going to add like K9 Vanquish Soul or whatever. Like the releases are just different in it's just like, it feels like most of the time the packs either have no impact or very little impact rather, or they clearly want one deck to be the best deck now. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, sure, they released Malice and Yugioh relatively close to each other, but it's very obvious which one they want to be the best deck. And so if it's the same thing with the Justice Hunters archetypes, we're not actually gonna get like a three-way format where all three can kind of like compete with each other and it's gonna be cool. No, you're gonna have like 1 or 2 decks that are clearly going to be above the rest, and then you add multiple max C and called buys into the mix, and like it's just gonna be worse.
Issue here with cards like Apollousa being allowed to exist.
And so for me personally, it's not so much that I hate Master Duel. It's just that like at any moment I have to ask myself, would I rather play TCG or Master Duel right now? And at the moment, and I think for the foreseeable future, the answer is going to be I would rather spend my time with TCG. And so that's what I'm going to do.
Maxi being in the game, with even just the concept of best of one. But these are all problems and issues that we've talked about historically many times. I guess I'm just really feeling the burn right now because I'm just really struggling to enjoy ranked in any shape or form. I wish that like we could...
It's funny how the thing I feel like that triggered this, because I feel like a lot of people are feeling like this right now, and it was kind of the same with me. I think the thing that triggered it was the Ad Ignister release, right? Like they've kind of always been doing this. Like forcing certain decks to be meta for way too long, and then dropping them and so on and so forth. But like, I feel like this time it being so blatantly obvious is the one that really put a lot of people over the edge, where it's like, okay, Malice is already by far the best deck. Once again, I'm referring to 80% win rate going first at the World Championships, which of course people have been arguing the World Championship is a different format because not everyone was playing Lancia and stuff like that. But honestly, terrible argument. 80% going first should never be acceptable at any level. And the fact that your opponent could play more Lancia to bring it down is not a great argument at all. Because if you need Lancia for my, if I need Lancia in my deck for my opponent not to have 80% win rate, that's already a huge red flag to begin with. But like Malice being this powerful and then now getting even more support is just something that like even the people that like Malice have been normally whenever I make a video where there's even some slight criticism about Malice, I've always got people in the comments telling me you know, I shouldn't complain about it too much and it's not that bad and so on and so forth. This time around, even the people that play Malice are in my comments and saying like, yeah, I play Malice, but this shit's ridiculous. Like that's what the majority of the people said. Even the ones that played Malice, I have no business defending, you know, the balancing.
Play like Orcus, the new stuff, the Punk things, new Dragon Maids, Dracotail, Yummy, Vanquish Soul, K9. These are all like actually good, fun, interactive back and forth decks. Sometimes they have their issues and problems, don't get me wrong, but it's just everything compounds together. You have a combo deck like Malice, which is just like inherently is going to not be fun for player 2. And then on top of that, they have access to some of the best cards that they never had in the TCG. And they just got support. Like, what do you mean you gave this deck support? I'm trying to think of like the best ways to like fix this, and other than just like, you know, burn it down to the ground and start again, which is essentially what Justice Hunters did, that's kind of like where I'm at right now. I'm just gonna keep playing these dumb little fun game modes and watching silly replays, and hopefully that'll tide me through until the game gets fun and enjoyable again. I mean, you do probably recall like last year I'd make a couple of gameplay videos here and there. Like I made an Unchained video where I like did a serious deck profile and offered some gameplay, and it was like the master rank, and I was like actually playing against like competent players, and like that's super fun and enjoyable because that deck was interactive. Like you actually got to play against the person. They didn't just like negate, bounce, or disrupt everything you did. And it's just, I'm just not having fun with how the current format is. And I might just be fixating too much on like the actual card pool here, but you can't deny that even the biggest fan of Malice has to admit that Malice is a deck that exacerbates every single negative aspect of the game. The long turns, the disruptions, the play on your turn type of thing. Maybe not the play on your turn too much, but just the amount of...
That part I think is subjective. I think like whether you like Malice or not, I think is honestly at this point, I think it's besides the point. It's more so about the power level of the deck, which is something that no one can deny. The fact that it is a combo deck just makes it even worse for me personally and for some other people out there. But like some people might enjoy a combo deck format, and that's completely fine. But like not if the combo deck is at this power level, and not if the answers to the combo deck are basically exclusively Maxi and Lancia, which are just mini games that have nothing to do with any sort of skill.
Hand traps and stuff this deck can still play despite getting new support. Sorry, this has been very ranty. I don't really have much to really offer in way of solutions, and I just felt like I needed to get this off my chest because I really hate ranked right now. I don't know, maybe if you ban like 4 of the top decks right now, the game will be enjoyable. I'm really disappointed that nothing has been done to create alternative ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh outside of just current ranked advanced format, and I hope eventually something gets done about this. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I mean, I guess just have to deal with it because, like I said, like when is the Justice Hunter format going to come to Master Duel? It's literally like next year. Like what are we going to do for 4 months? Spin wheels? All right, let me know what your current thoughts and experiences are on Master Duel.
They could release Justice Hunter stuff early, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I'm done with guessing. I like you guys know my stance on this, of course. I'm just enjoying the TCG right now. I'm having a good time. I think Master Duel is completely fine if you don't take it seriously in terms of like competition and stuff like that, like I cannot imagine grinding the Duelist Cup next weekend. I could not imagine doing that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know what I would do if there was no YCS next weekend. Like, let's say I would play Master Duel every once in a while on stream and there was a Duelist Cup. I would probably stream on the weekend just to like get some content out of it, but I would not grind it. I would not grind it. So I don't know. Gem Knight might make it bearable. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't hate the Gem Knight deck conceptually, but I think decks like Tenpai and Gem Knight are inherently less interesting for me in best of one. I think it's not that fun to play these blind second OTK decks or to have them in the format in a best of one environment. I think it's interesting in best of three. The concept, at least, like Tenpai was still annoying in best of three, but it was more manageable than it was in best of one. And I think in best of one, those they don't feel like a solution. They feel more like another issue, if that makes sense. Right? Isn't it weird they have a YCS on the same weekend? They have a cup. Why exclude people that play in the YCS from the Master Duel Cup? I think it's just a matter of the Duelist Cup being a global event. It's very hard to like I have no idea how long in advance or how far in advance they know when the Duelist Cup is going to happen and when the YCS is going to happen, and I think it's just a matter of it's just not gonna usually align, because like, what weekend are you gonna do the September Duelist Cup? I guess it could have been this weekend if they had the foresight of YCS Lille and Anaheim happening, right? But like the week after you couldn't do it because then it's YCS Anaheim and so on. I think it's just a different department and they don't always take into account every single event that's happening everywhere on the planet. But yes, it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. It I guess in an ideal world it should work differently, but it's not what we have.